So hey guys, hello and welcome to Speedy Medical once again. And this video is dedicated to those people who are in their USMLE journey and are like confused, worried, or have like little idea about research. Fortunately, we have the right people who will guide us about the research and how to do the research actually. And I'm very thankful to Dr. Avanthika and Dr. Sharan for getting time from their busy schedule and helping us and other IMGs in their research journey. Firstly, I would like to introduce Dr. Avanthika. Dr. Avanthika is a IMG who graduated in 2021 from KIMS. She has cleared her USMLE Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, and she is ACFMG certified. And she will be applying for this year's match for pediatrics. Apart from this, Dr. Avantika has a huge work experience and a huge volunteer experience. Honestly, it is like that. If I go to introduce the work experience and your volunteer experience, it will take an hour or so. Apart from this, Dr. Avantika has got 30 plus publication under her name, which is a really big thing in just a short period of time. And yeah, so we have the right person who will guide us regarding the research. So, Dr. Avantika, would you please like to tell us more about you and your pursuits and what are your plans ahead? Yeah,
Thank
over
you,
to you.
Sarah, for that very long introduction. I'm really happy to be on this interview. I'm really excited to be talking about Otto, about our journey through research and how did we grow from being an organization just started by the two of us to actually getting it global. So I'm really excited to talk about it. I guess my plans right now are that I'm applying for the 2022-2023 math cycle in pediatrics,
Yeah,
just working on my ERAS application, waiting for it to, waiting to apply to all the programs, and then I'll probably be waiting for interviews. So it's going to be a long wait period for me before I get into
yeah.
residency. But touch wood, hopefully everything goes well. So that's the phase I'm in right now. And hopefully by next year, I'll be a resident. So here's to hoping.
We all have strong hope that you will be on the other side next year and you will be guiding us with the interviews and all that stuff, like the way you have guided us with the research. So we wish you a best of luck for that. Okay, so
Definitely.
among Dr. Avantika, we have Dr. Sharan with us. Dr. Sharan is the co-founder of Otto Research Initiative along with Dr. Avantika. Dr. Sharan is currently intern at Srimati NML MMC in Gujarat, and Dr. Sharan has a wide experience in presentations. He has been a presenter since, like, I guess, since your med school or even before that, you started with those pursuits. And also, Dr. Sharan is actively involved in like more than like 7, 8 projects. And regarding the publications, Dr. Sharan has 30 plus publications under his name. Being an intern, being in med school, and having so many publications, really, it is beyond comparison, and it takes a lot of a real enthusiasm to be at this point. So, Dr. Sharan, I really appreciate you for this, and seriously, you are a role model for all of us regarding how should we be dedicated towards a goal. So, so obviously, Dr. Sharan and Dr. Vantika are the very right people who will be guiding us. And Dr. Sharan, over to you. Like, would you like to introduce more about you and tell us
I
about
mean,
you?
I think you've said enough. I don't see any point of going on. But yeah, I mean, I'll just say that I've been really passionate about research in since
Yeah,
the beginning of my medical school, and fortunately, I've been in I've gotten the opportunities. I feel lucky to have gotten these all these opportunities to explore
yeah.
my interests, and I'm happy to help other people. I'm happy to be in a position where I'm helping other people realize their
Yeah,
dreams as well.
yeah.
So yeah.
So, Dr. Sharan and Dr. Avantika, in my platform, I have been getting a lot of questions from IMGs because, IMGs, they don't get a much exposure about the research. So, in this session, I will ask you some questions which I have shortlisted about research and all other things related to the research. So, my first question would be to Dr. Sharan. Dr. Sharan, what exactly is research? Because when I was in my med school, even till my internship, when I used to hear this thing research, I used to think someone working in laboratories and doing PCR or something like that. So seriously, honestly speaking, I didn't have much idea what are these, research projects, and specifically from USMLE point of view, what exactly is research? So I would like wish you could tell us more about this thing.
Yeah, sure. So I think your conception of research isn't off. What you just described is laboratory research or basic sciences research,
Yeah,
which does happen in India as well, but it's not really carried out by medical students. It's more carried out by people pursuing BScs or MScs. Um, Medicine and India and medical students in India usually pursue what is known as clinical research, which means it's about research that pertains to clinical topics. Now, research in general is going one step beyond what is known, right? You try to bridge
mhm,
the gap between known and the unknown. So
yeah,
um, it's it's honestly just a mindset. That's all it is. You're just asking, you're looking at something and asking why, and you keep questioning
yeah,
over and over again, and then
yeah,
and then you try to find the answer to that
yeah,
by a systematic approach. That's how research operates. That's it. Um, from the USMLE perspective, like if I were to give you maybe two words about it, the US system differs from the rest of the world because it relies very heavily on evidence-based medicine. And what that
yeah,
means
exactly.
is, you know, the US will tell us, will set the protocol, and then the entire world will follow it. So they're champions in like deciding
Hmm.
what the treatment is. When we don't know, they will tell us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so when I see USMLE, when I see research from a USMLE perspective, I see it as I see what I see is, or what they're looking for is people who are interested in contributing to that process, not
Exactly.
just being passive participants, but not just being passive observers, but being active participants in that process
Yeah,
of contributing to growth.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great. So you mean like we are contributing towards more like evidence-based medicine. Like let's say I see a case in my ward and that is somewhat different from what the usual presentation is. So I will think that this can be a case report, and that is how I, contribute to already existing literature. So this is how we do
Right.
it.
That's right.
Okay, great.
That's right. That's
So,
right. Perfect.
yeah. So, Dr. Avantika, my next question would be to you. Like we know that USMLE journey is a very long journey. We have USMLE step one, we have step two, we have electives, rotation, everything. So, before like the step one went pass fail, the people had a set plan. They, used to study for step two, step one, like for 1 year or 1.5 year. Then they used to go for electives, and then after coming back, they would use to give the step two. But now, since the step one is pass fail and there is a weightage on the research, so where exactly should we put this research in? Like should a person start should start thinking from second year, pre-final, final? When exactly should a person start to think about the research in his or her USMLE journey? Is it after step one? Is it before step one? So I would like to know your point of view on this point. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Sarah. I guess,
yeah.
like I always say, it's never too late or it's never too early.
Hmm.
So there's no
Hmm.
like fixed time where, I would recommend someone start working in and start like working in research or start learning about research, because it all depends on how interested you are. Even in
Yeah.
your first year of med school, it's never too early, because you look around you and you see like there are projects going on in the anatomy lab and the physiology lab. You can always take part to the best of your capabilities in those projects. So it's never too early, right? I mean, if you're interested, go for it. But I guess, why I would recommend getting a head start into research during medical school is that, because one, it kind of it gives you an understanding of basic research methodology before you graduate. And while you worked on papers or whether you worked on case reports, you also have the opportunity to publish them, and while
Hmm.
publishing them, you can also talk about them in undergraduate medical conferences.
Hmm.
As we know, especially in India, there's so many undergraduate medical conferences almost every every medical school organizes one. So it's a
Yeah,
good
exactly.
exposure also for you to go ahead and present it, present it in the form of a poster, present it as an oral presentation, and all of these things, I guess, gives you that small insight as to how research works in the real world. So once you graduate,
Exactly.
it'll be much easier for you because you already have completed that first step. So for anyone, anyone who's still in med school, now would be a great time to start. Whether it's an ICMR project, whether it's a simple case report,
Yeah.
something interesting you've seen and you want to actually write about it, that's still good enough. It's a small start, but it's a start. So that's what I would recommend.
So another thing is that, as you said, in medical school, we have the resources at disposal. Let's say we graduate, then we have to sit at home or, work in a clinic. But in the medical college, there is a huge setup. There are postgraduates who are writing their thesis, or, there are professors and there are other faculty members. So if a person is really interested, then he can have the right person to mentor him in the medical college itself. So yeah, so I completely agree with your point. Now, Dr. Sharan, the question is for you. So, like you told, what is research? Now, I specifically want you to address, like, let's say I'm a person and I want to, do research. So, my question to you will be, Dr. Sharan, what should I do? And you have to tell me,
Okay.
like, sort of go and bring that case report or bring that systematic review or bring that literature review. So, very specifically, these three things. What exactly is research? How should I, do this thing? Case report, what is case report? What is systematic review? What is literature review? So yeah,
Okay. So great question. Love it. Um, to your first, the answer to your first question is what I said. Research is a mindset. All you have to
yeah,
do is keep
exactly.
asking why. Right? You
Yeah,
see something, you ask why, you dive deep into it, and you have Google. You have the universal like library at your fingertips. Google it, and you will find some answer to it at least. But you have to have that habit of asking over and over again, why? Okay. Um, if you do that, you will. That's how you start developing questions for your research papers. That's why I am emphasizing on that.
exactly.
When you're thinking about topics about, okay, what do I want to research? That is one way of doing it. Now, the second thing that you just asked, that where should you begin? I think a lot of medical students, the mistake that they make is they try to be over ambitious when they begin. So they'll be, especially I know few students in my college, especially, they haven't worked on any research paper at all, and they'll say, I want to work on a systematic review or a meta-analysis. Those are very, very complicated papers, right?
Yeah,
So you have to start with the basics. Focus on your basics. A case report or a literature review or a simple observational study, those things are where you begin. Once you are familiar with the basics, then you can graduate to more, complicated studies which involve, complicated biostatistics and, uh, all of that comes later. You have to first have your basics down. And to answer your third question, I think one practical way of sort of getting your feet wet in research is to start reading published articles in good journals. So you have
yeah,
Nature, BMJ, and the Lancet, and your medical school might have access to these journals. You have to ask your medical school librarian. Usually they do, and um, what you don't necessarily have to read the entire journal. You don't necessarily have to read every paper. Pick up a paper that you enjoy, read it. Whatever you don't understand, Google it,
yeah,
right? Because
exactly.
that's how you will learn about the different aspects of research. Those There is no book or course or module that will teach you how to do research, right? If you
Yeah.
find it, please let us know because we're searching for it too. Right? So
Okay.
in our
Yeah,
experience, we haven't found any. So this is how you learn, right? You run into a problem and you don't understand it. You Google it, try to find out what that is, and you
yeah,
will use that information sometime else. So I think that is something you can do. You can do start doing right now, basically.
yeah. So till now, summing up the conversation, we have Research, like you in the first question, you told the idea, like what is research. So we differentiated it from science research to clinical research. Second thing, Avantika told us, when should we start the research? As soon as possible. You get the mentors, you start with the thing. Third, we got the sequence from you that you have to start it in a simpler manner. Start with case report, then literature review. Don't jump into observational and meta-analysis. So this is the basic idea that we are building on research, when to start, how to start, what to start. So if I think I have to do research, I know what are the right things to be asked to a
Right.
professor. Sir, I want to write a case report. I will not go and say I want to do research. So he will ask me what
Right.
research. So we got the answers till now. Dr.
That's right.
Avantika, my next question is to you. We know that mentorship is very, very important. Like without mentor, we don't know the direction. We will be like a new electron going here there, like without any direction. So fortunately I got mentors like you and Dr. Sharan. But like I would want to know your point, how to exactly do this thing called as networking. This is a very fancy term in USMLE, networking. And like actually that is like searching for mentors actually, but they have given it the term networking. So how exactly should we do networking? And also I would specifically want your brief idea or point on use of social media like LinkedIn, Twitter. Very, very brief idea. First mentorship and then this thing. So over to you, Dr. Vantika.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I've always said, everywhere, LinkedIn is a very underrated resource. Like,
Yeah,
LinkedIn is not just a place for you to upload your CV or portfolio, but it's for you to meet like-minded people. When you're on LinkedIn,
exactly.
you will meet so many applicants who are on the USMLE journey. And I have personally seen applicants who have gotten to know each other on LinkedIn and then ended up doing a research paper together. So again, you
Exactly.
never know whom you'll meet, and that can be said about social media in general, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's even Instagram. If you can meet anyone at any time, so it's always an option for collaboration. There's always an option for like learning something new about someone else. As for finding mentorship, I think it is true. Having a good mentor is hard to find. I struggled to find a good mentor while I was still starting out with my USMLE
Mhm.
journey. I think rather than, having someone as a good mentor, it's more about how much time can they devote to actually helping you, because there
Yeah.
might be someone who knows everything, but it's really hard for, if they're very busy, right? They won't be able to help you with the small steps that you need to reach to
Mhm.
the place that you want to go to. So I think having
Exactly.
a mentor is also, it also depends on how free are they to help you rather than who they are, because there's so many people who have so many, who have so many publications, who would have probably already matched into residency, and everyone, like, would want to ask them, but at the end of the day they need to be free to help you. So I think that's one thing. If you're looking for a mentor, make sure that they're able to give you the time that you need to answer the questions that you have. And yes, definitely on LinkedIn you'll be able to find a lot of people who are on the same journey, and that kind of helps you connect with a lot of people. You might be able to ask them about the USC that they have done. You can ask them about the prior research papers, and definitely if someone's like a in a research position in a really reputed hospital, you can ask them about like, how did you get into the position?
Yeah.
My funda is like, always ask. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong in asking. Like,
No
you meet
harm.
someone on LinkedIn, yeah, like there's no harm. I mean, the worst answer you can get is no. They might not answer, and that's okay. Like, rejections are a part of this entire journey, and this is where we need to get used to it, right? We can't
Exactly.
always, get the answers to what we want, but it never hurts to ask. If you see someone doing a really interesting project or in a good research position, ask them on LinkedIn, ask them how they went about it, and you never know, they might be leaving that position and you might end up getting it, right? So
Exactly.
you never know from where you can get a potential connection. But LinkedIn is definitely a good place to start because it's completely built on a professional network. So yeah.
Great. So we have like the idea of research, what is research, when to start research. Now we got the answer, whom to approach to. We will use LinkedIn, we will use Twitter, we'll find the person who is working at maybe Mayo or working at wherever, like Cleveland or even India, like at good research positions, and will like humbly ask for positions, or will ask for guidance or mentorship. We can get a no, we can get a yes. So that's how I started. So we met on like Telegram, and I asked you, like, is there any research project, or is there any way I can also get published? You told me it was like October last year. You told me no, not at this moment, but obviously in January, February, we can consider you. So yeah, till then I waited. So I waited, I got the opportunity. That's how I got to know the terminology. Like I am doing a literature review or like stuff like that. So yeah, you are absolutely right. That's how we started. So Dr. Sharan, my question will be to you. So Dr. Sharan, like in our medical school, we have so much going on. Like we have terminals, we have like send-up exams, we have university exams, and like technically we cannot keep it, on the other side. Like we cannot like I would say like I cannot dedicate myself wholly to the USMLE journey and completely forget about what is going on in my USMLE, in my med school. So, Dr. Sharan, very quickly, we are running actually short of time. Very quickly, because this Zoom meeting will end in like 10 minutes. So, Dr. Sharan, very quickly, how to balance the med school with research? So, how to balance? Like, how did you balance actually?
Okay. I love research, and I will continue to do research even if I've done if I even if you publish like two papers tomorrow, I will continue to do research because I really enjoy it, right?
Yeah,
But for, like, if you're asking me from like a USMLE perspective, or
yeah,
like for the average student who doesn't really like research but really wants to do a little bit and explore a little bit, my suggestion would be one project, just one project done, planned well, and executed well is honestly enough, right?
okay,
As a medical student, you are not expected to have like 50 publications on your CV.
exactly,
You are a medical
exactly.
student, you are starting out, it's your first step into medicine.
Yeah,
You are not
exactly.
expected to have like a CV that's 50 pages long, right?
Okay,
But have one, use your time in medical school, and there are two things here. One, talk to your PSM professors. They know how to design studies. They will help you design studies. Don't go to the clinician. The clinician was not trained in
hmm,
was not formally trained in research, right? Go to your PSM professors. They will know how to conduct studies. And number two, everybody worries about data collection. Yeah, we live in India. We have so many
so
patients.
much.
Our average OPDs are like 400.
Yeah,
Okay, even if you collect 40 patients a day, you will collect enough data in a month. That is not the big problem. Collecting
yeah,
data is not the issue here. It is
yeah.
designing the study that is the major problem, and that is where we are lacking as Indians. That is where we need to work. So talk to your PSM professors. Get one study done. Just in 5.5 years,
Okay,
I think you can do one study.
okay.
That much I think we can balance out. Yeah.
So it's like one thing at a time, not like indulge in five, six places. I am doing this, I am
No.
doing this, and nothing is getting to the finish line. Okay, you are like
No.
suspended in everything. So like stick to one
Do
thing,
one
get it done.
study, yeah,
Okay.
and then
So
you
so
move on. Now,
yeah,
if you're good and you're efficient, you can do multiple projects later. But when you're
yeah,
starting out,
exactly.
one study at a time. Yeah.
So so Dr. Avantika, a very quick question because we are running short of time. Very quick question. Cost. Finances are a very big hurdle in the USMLE journey, and it is also very, I would say, honestly, this thing has to be talked more about. Like we should be very clear about finances and financial aspect of the USMLE journey. This point is little less talked about compared to other thing, how to study for the step one. Like we see there are so many resources about how to study for step one, but there will be no one talking about how to manage the finances for step one, how to buy the USMLE U World, when to buy it, like when to buy it. So my question will be, does doing research or getting published cost? Like if it cost, how much it is? So very short answer and in a quick, yeah.
So I guess definitely, like you said, this is a very expensive journey that we're on, and there is
Yeah,
no way of like sugarcoating it, right? But
yeah.
definitely learning research has, like, we always believe that learning basic research methodology should be free. And that's one of the reasons why we started Auto, because we did see
Hmm.
that we saw a lot of IMGs out there paying for research, paying to
Yeah,
learn basic simple things like how to write a review paper or how to write a case report. And these are things that we realize that, we can definitely teach people for free. Like, you shouldn't be paying 800 or $1,000 to just learn something, which should have
exactly.
been taught to you in the first place, right? So definitely that is one reason why we started Auto, to cut down the whole expenses and make sure that IMGs don't get ripped off by paying so much for just learning about research. And for publishing, I think there are two types of journals. As we all know, one would be like an open access journal, and the other one would be a subscription based journal. And publishing in an open access journal does come with cost, because you are paying the journal to make sure that everyone can read your paper. But subscription based is just that, it's not at a cost for the author, because the journal charges people to read it. But it does come with a sets of pros and cons, because as Sharan and I have both seen, publishing in open access has definitely given us a lot more viewership and a lot more citations of those papers as compared to subscription based. Again, because it's a lot more people reading it, because it's available for free to read,
Exactly.
right? So you get more recognition for your work if it's open access. But if you are looking at it cost wise, I think subscription based journals are a good cost, because at the end of the day, it's not at a cost to you. The journal will be paying someone to read your paper, so you will definitely be able to get published in the journal without at any cost. And that way, subscription based journals are a very good idea in case you're looking at it from a pure cost perspective.
Oh, great. So we got the answer. Like, if we are running short of money, we have to go for subscription based. If money is not the problem, but we want our work to be recognized, then go for the open access. Okay. So,
Exactly.
Dr. Sharan, I am cutting one question because we just have 4 minutes and we want to sum up this conversation in a great manner. Dr. Avanthika, a very quick question because you are applying for the match this year. A very quick question to you: is there a magic number? Like I should have like five publication or six publication or one publication? Is there a magic number? If it is, what it
No,
is?
definitely not. I feel like that's the problem that most of us have. We always
Yeah,
look at numbers as an absolute value. We're like, okay, is 10 a good number, or is 5 a good number? But at the end of the day, it's quality over quantity. Because as far as what I've heard, and I've spoken to so many people who interviewed last year, at the end of
yeah.
the day, what interviewers or program directors really care about is that what was your role in that research paper. So even if you have done one study, and that's a really good original study, a cross-sectional study where you have actually collected the data, you have written the
Mhm.
manuscript, that's good enough. That's equivalent to writing 5 case reports, because the amount of work that you've put in is like magnified as compared to writing a case report,
Exactly,
right? So at the end of
exactly,
the day, it is quality over quantity. So there is no absolute number. One is good enough, five is good enough. It really depends on what kind of studies you have done in the name of research. So
exactly,
like, never look at it as from a numbers game. Kind of look at it as what is the quality of the research you have done, and are you able to talk about it in your interviews. That is
okay,
another thing, because that is something that I ask you about. And you need to talk about what you did and how interesting it
exactly.
was, what was your role. So if that is something that you're able to carry off, that's all that's required.
Great. So the idea is like if I have done something, let's say I have five publications, I should be able to talk about those rather than, just having my name over there. So,
Yeah.
so although we are running very short of time, and I wanted this conversation to be, a bit longer, but Dr. Avantika and
Okay.
Dr. Sharan, thank you so much for this Auto Research Initiative, really helping the IMGs, so many countries, so many IMGs. LinkedIn is getting filled with this Auto Research Initiative stuff. So a very, very brief, your vision about the future, what Auto will do in future, and where do you want to see it? Although we are running short of time, but yeah,
So I think we want to continue growing. We want to continue helping people because we know we're making a difference to a lot of people's lives right now, and
exactly,
they write back to us. They tell us that you made a very big difference, not just to our application, but see when you get published as a first-time author, it gives you a unique kind of confidence that
exactly.
you know what research is not impossible, it's doable, and
Yeah,
I have done it.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So we want to continue growing. I think the only thing we are trying to address is we have like 3,000 plus applicants sitting with us right now,
Hmm.
and we are trying to figure out a way of how to provide value to everybody. Because see, both of us, we're also human beings. We can't mentor
Exactly.
3,000
True
people.
people cannot mentor. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Exactly.
we are looking at options. We're trying to, but we want to, whatever we do, we want to make sure that we don't dilute the quality that
Okay.
and the standards of auto.
So, Dr. Avantika, after Dr. Sharan's views on auto and all your future goals and you know the other stuff that you have been facing in this venture, I want to know your perspective and your visions and obviously your experience, overall experience about auto and where you want to see it in future. Yeah. So over to you.
Yeah, well, honestly, I think firstly, to be very, very frank, I think Otto has helped me and Sharan a lot in our own personal development and growth. And that's
Yeah.
something that I think we need to give credit for. Because while we started Otto, it was just the two of us. And now we have mentored
Hmm.
hundreds of people. And they've ranged from being first year medical students to, associate professors. And some have already done their residency, are now doing fellowship. So we have mentored people of all ages, and
Yeah.
for us to communicate with that wide age group and also to communicate with people all over the world, in the beginning it was a bit of a task because we were a bit worried, are they able to understand us, are we communicating ourselves or making
Yeah.
ourselves clear, is there like a gap in communication, are they in all of that. But I guess at the end of the day, like looking back, I feel like it has definitely helped us become better teachers, better mentors, and has made us better communicators. And not just for auto, I feel like it's a really good life skill to have, and we're very grateful that being an auto and starting auto has given us this life skill, because it'll definitely help us in being better doctors and better human beings as well. So we really want to thank everyone out there who sent us so many messages on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and
Yeah.
giving us all that
Yeah.
love, because we never expected it. Like when we started it, we just wanted to help 10 people. Like that was our goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we never expected it to reach at the global scale that it is now. And to see that has been a very phenomenal journey. And we are very, very grateful to each and every one who has like messaged us, DM'd us, and sent us their support. So that really means a lot to us. And thank you guys. If you're listening in,
Yeah.
thank you.
So among those people, I'm also the one who will always
Yeah,
be
definitely.
yeah, thankful to you people, like for my first
Yeah.
project and guiding me. So obviously, this venture you started with your whole honest effort, and now it is taking wings, and there is no limit for it, and it will grow and grow. And I am very very hopeful for that, and I wish you all the best. All the best to you,
Thank you.
Avantika, for your match season, and you are gonna be a great pediatrician in future. I know for this year. And Dr. Sharan, I know research is something that is very, very close to you. All the best for your own
Yeah.
research pursuits and wish to see
Thank you.
you, as a great academic clinician, academic,
Thanks.
doctor in the recent future. And yeah, that's
100%.
all for today. And thank you so much for, whatever, like guiding whole
Thank you for having
IMG
us. Yeah.
community towards research. So thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank you.
having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us,
Honestly,
man.
it's been a pleasure working with you. It's been a pleasure working with
100%.
your team. And thank
Yeah.
you for having us on your platform to help us, like, answer questions, and like so many people listen to your platform, and you have such a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
viewership. So great work with that. And
Great work. Great
watch
work.
some of your videos, they're amazing.
Pleasure is
So
all
great
mine.
work
Thank
with
you.
You
that,
love
and
it.
keep it
Yeah.
going. Even you're helping everyone for free. A lot of people are learning from your videos. So that's amazing, and
We're
kudos.
learning from your videos. I mean, we're also learning a
Thank you
couple of
so
things
much.
from your
Thank you so
videos. So
much,
it's
guys.
awesome.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.